Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us today. Um, I'm Ashley, and we will be conducting our bite-sized learning knowledge sharing session. Again, we've lined up quite an interesting topics to address today, and we have some uh, guest stars, special guest stars, who will be sharing their experience of using blended learning. And I would like to take this opportunity to thank all of them for agreeing to participate in our knowledge sharing. So let's begin. It's time now to go on. Okay. First and foremost, we will start with some engagement with participants who are attending today. What I would like to suggest is um, you might want to log into UNIMAS eLEAP at the moment. UNIMAS eLEAP. Okay, this particular slide I'm showing here, you can see, maybe I can go on to the slide view presentation. Now, normally what I do is that I will actually use Mentimeter to interact with my participants, or even sometimes with my students. But I realized that many people, when I analyzed our blended learning status for the faculty, some of the course instructors, they have failed to achieve under the category called activities. And I'm not sure whether they have actually done certain activities in their course. So today I'm going to give you an option of how you can actually, many people know how to use Mentimeter. It's kind of a popular engagement tool with participants. But I won't be using Mentimeter, but we can address this later if anybody would like to know more about how to use Mentimeter. Now, instead of Mentimeter, we're going to use Choice. The reason I'm using Choice is because you will be able to know how to use this app, which is already within the eLEAP platform. And this is how it will look like. Later, I will show you all where to actually engage this and how to actually do a particular choice activity. Okay, so there are 4 interactions that I would like you all to participate. So please go to UNIMAS eLEAP. Okay, so this will be the starting page that you'll actually see when you want to go to UNIMAS eLEAP. UNIMAS eLEAP. There are 3 platforms. So UNIMAS eLEAP is the one that we want to go to. So now once you go in, you log in through using UNIMAS identity, and this is the page that you'll come to. If you press my course, and it will appear all the courses that you are involved in. It will appear. So I would like to draw your attention to a particular portal here, which is FMHS e-learning training ground. So this is made specifically for our training purposes. So if you can click on that, I've already made all of you all as learners in this particular portal. So it'll be useful for you to also know how to actually manually put in some of the students if they have any problem that they are not part of that your course and so on, which is very highly unlikely to happen. But if at all it happens, so you'd probably go to this user, and you will see enrolled users, and you will see all your names are available here. These are all the people who are available here, and these are the participants. Altogether, I have about 34 participants who have actually registered for this this eLEAP knowledge sharing session. So those are the people who will be part of this workshop today. Okay, go back to the first page. Okay. Now, I've lined up, like I said, that there'll be 4 activities from the PowerPoint slide that I showed you earlier. So you can actually see there was 4 interaction that I've already built in for you all. The first one, I named it as Mentimeter. LMS, and then platform and checklist. Now, at the moment, you see that it is hidden from student. So you are not able to see it at the moment. So I'm going to release it and you will be able to see it in your view, in your terminals. So this is how, okay, so now you will actually see this appearing. You might want to fresh, click the fresh button, and you will probably see it appearing in your terminal. Okay, I hope you can start doing the activity. Then maybe I'll give about 1 minute. Maybe y'all can start doing the activity. Then we will see the outcome. What is the outcome of that activity is? So I think the question was to ask, are y'all familiar with Mentimeter? So let's see if there's any response so far. Oh, that's great. We have about 19 responses at the moment. The results of this activity will not be published after you answer. Yes. So I am familiar with Mentimeter as an instructor. So your choice is given here. Let's see the people who have answered. So these are the people who have actually answered. That's very good. That's very good. Thank you very much for participating. So this is one activity that I'm trying to engage with you all and find out whether who is able to use Mentimeter and who is not able to use, as some who have never used before, okay, and some of them are not sure. So this is good that I know that I need to make Mentimeter aware to create everyone awareness to how to use Mentimeter. Okay, let's go back to the next activity, which is the second one. It is I know what is learning management system. Okay, again, 19 of y'all have responded. Okay, some of y'all do not know and some of y'all not sure. So these are things what you call by learning management system. So you can immediately, if you post a question related to your course, then you can actually address the question here itself. You can tell your students. So for example, learning management system is the entire eLEAP structure, the service that we have created for users, for staff to use. That is what we call learning management system, where the students and the staff prepare the material, then the students engage. So that's what we call learning management system. Okay. Next activity is regarding the platform. Okay, the platform. The question is, what is the name of the platform that UNIMAS LMS is based on? UNIMAS Learning Management System is based on. You've given three options there: eLEAP, Morpheus, and Moodle. Okay, and the answer is Moodle. Okay, the answer is Moodle. So eLEAP is actually the what we can actually say is eLEAP is the pronoun. Okay, it's a pronoun, a special name given to this so-called this system that we have created. Moodle is actually the background. The whatever the coding that has been done is based on this so-called Moodle. Now, actually, you can see the name of eLEAP. eLEAP is e-learning enhancement and advancement platform. Okay, that's what eLEAP stands for. The name is actually written here, very small. Probably you need to enlarge it so that you can view it better. But basically, it is e-learning enhancement and advancement platform. Okay, and it's definitely not Morpheus. Morpheus was what we call the previous systems. The previous systems that we had before we made eLEAP, it was known as Morpheus. The server's name was actually Morpheus. Okay, next. The last interaction that I wanted to do is, yeah, the question is, I am familiar with UNIMAS blended learning checklist. Okay, I am familiar with UNIMAS blended learning checklist. Okay, again, 19 of y'all have responded. Thank you very much. So, no. Okay, some of y'all have, you don't know what it is. Some of y'all know, that's very good. Not sure. Okay, so today we will actually clarify this and we'll make sure that everybody understand what is the blended learning checklist is all about. again, this hotspots here where you can actually click. This is where you can go back. Instead of you clicking this, you can actually click this. It'll take you to a better. At the moment you are in the response view, then view the 19 responses. Then you'll probably view all the responses. But then you can go quickly here, and you will actually view the front page of your so-called course page. In this case, the course page is what we call FMHS e-learning training ground. Okay. Now we finished with the activities and the 4 activities. Let's go back to our PowerPoint okay. So this is basically what we're going to cover today. Like I said, we will definitely make sure that everybody understands what is blended learning checklist. And then we will, in a very succinct way, we will try to review blended learning status for semester 2, the previous academic session. And then the highlight of the day would be the 3, 4, and also the 5. 3 will be active and meaningful engagement, and on how you use eLEAP or any other tools like WhatsApp to engage your learners. And then, like I promised, we have 3 guest stars, special guest stars. I haven't introduced them. It's like a suspense who they are. I will definitely introduce them later. And then lastly, we'll have the question and answer session. Okay. Okay. The first thing to start out is a blended learning checklist. Now, this is a guideline which is given to what you can include in order for you to achieve the blended learning practitioner status. So this is a checklist, a self-evaluation checklist, where you will be able to say that you have actually done all this, so therefore you may be qualified. Okay, then it will be verified by CAM, and you'll be given a recognition, due recognition. Okay, let's look at what is the content of it. There are basically four very important areas that covered by this blended learning checklist. A, B, and C. A is called course information. B, content or resources. C is activities, and D is assessment. And you can see that here I've highlighted here 1 item, 7 item, for C 3 items, and I've also written the participation. And then the last item, 2 items, 2 for part D, assessment, 2 items. Now, what does that numbers mean? That numbers, now we will go into that. These are examples given, suggested items. All you need to do is provide one of them. But if you can see, these are all important, what we call items that is required for a good LMS for students to get information. So you can actually give lots of other things, like for example, sometimes like this is actually scheduled, and this is what we call timetable. You can actually give a weekly timetable, or you can give all the timetable compiled into one particular file, and that PDF file is available for students to download. Or you can put an image file there and say that this is the timetable for that particular week. So it's up to your own creativity, but how you can do it is, but you only need to provide one item only. The course outline, the objective of your course, you can actually write it down. So these are all items which you, if you have done it, then you can tick it, and for your own evaluation, you can say that you have done that. So that's only one item is required to be placed on the course page. Next is content and resources. Okay, here you would need to provide 7 items, a minimum of 7 items. You can even put 7 PowerPoint slides or 7 PDF slides of your lecture notes or Word file. Okay, what other things, whatever that you want to do. Even you want to do a presentation, you want to put a recorded presentation of whatever, 7 items. Here are given all the examples that you can actually put. Okay, so this comes under resources. These are the resources for your students to actually engage in your course. So these 7 items, once you have done that, you fulfilled. Okay, you have fulfilled so far. Next, C. Now, I would like to reiterate here. This is the most common what do you call part in the blended learning evaluation, where instructors or the coordinators fail to achieve. Okay, uh, please be aware that you need to do at least 3 items. 3 items. It can be in the form of a quiz. Okay, sorry, quiz can be part of your assessment, but here you can actually have certain activities, a questionnaire, a survey, a choice activity, which we've done that earlier. We've already done 4 for this particular workshop, and you can also do some other reflection kind of engagement, where journal, database, or even a wiki. Okay, a wiki, you can explore that. It's very easy. You can ask your students to create words which they find it very difficult in your lecture, and start compiling it as a database. Okay, it allows you to create those kind of things. Okay, H5P. Okay, we will address this later. I will show you how to actually create H5P. Okay, and mind mapping. So these are just suggested items that you can actually do, but all you need to minimum you need to provide is 3 items only. Okay, next you have the last part, which is the assessment, the assessment part, where in here you need to provide 2 items. You can have 2 quizzes, or you could have given proof that you've actually conducted Kahoot, Socrative, or Answer Garden. These are all third-party softwares, that you did it, and then you can actually provide the links or embed them into your course page. So CAM will be able to see that, oh, you have done this. So once you've done this, then you fulfill the requirement. Now, once you've fulfilled all this requirement, that's what you have already done. Now, okay, now we're going to go back to do another 2 interactions, engaging with you guys. So we are back to, we will be back. I skip that, then I'll come back to this page here. So like I said earlier, these are the 4 earlier choice activities that we have completed. So now you got 2 more choice activity here, but you will not be able to see it at the moment. Remember, I've hidden it from you all, so I'm going to release it now. Okay, so again, you will need to refresh your page, and you will actually see it appearing in wherever that you are engaging from now. Okay, so this is what the first activity is, choice activity, content and resources. Next one, choice activity, participation. Okay, now okay, what we will do is we'll just give 1 or 2 minutes, maybe 1 minute. We'll give 1 minute and see if people have interacted with me regarding this activity. Okay, meanwhile, if anyone has any questions regarding what we are going through now, you can feel free to ask me. Okay, maybe we will see now. Oh, we've got about 17 responses. How many content or resources do I have to provide on my eLEAP course? Okay, how many content or resources? Let's see what's the answer. Okay, the answer is 7. 7, excellent. Most of you all got it right. That's the number 7. It's not 2 or 1, it's 7. Thank you very much for your responses. Next engagement was about participation. Okay, participation of students are crucial for blended learning status. Okay, the option was true, false, or not sure. Okay, but then everybody answered correctly. Yeah, every one of you all know that it is important. It is important that participation is very important, and I will tell you why participation is important and what the implication for your blended learning. Right, okay. Now, Again, 1, 7, 3, and 2. 7 is the resources that I asked in the survey earlier. So 7 is the resources, 3 is the activities, and 2 is the assessment. Okay, but before we go on to that, so this is a summary of what the blended learning criteria is required of an instructor who's having a course page in eLEAP. Okay, you will need to provide at least one item on the course information, 7 items with regards to the resources or the content, and then conduct 3 activities, and then another 2 activities regarding assessment need to be carried out. Okay, the next thing is quickly I would like to share with you the blended learning status for semester 2, which is the previous academic session. Now the pie chart is actually showing in percentage, it reflecting the percentage, but I didn't put the percentage here, but you can see the percentage in the pictorial form, but these are actual numbers, then you can actually visualize it much easily. Then we had the postgraduate courses. There were about 29 of them, and the bulk of the courses are from undergraduate. There are 36 undergraduate. So out of these 36 undergraduate courses, 25 of them actually are blended learning status, and they achieved blended learning status, and only 6 from the 29 postgraduate courses actually achieved the blended learning status. You can actually see that part. And overall, the contribution for the faculty, these are the number of courses that achieved blended learning. So there were about 48%. Okay, it's very bad. From semester 1, we were in somewhere close to 70, but here we have dropped to about 50%. Okay, this is an overall picture of the status of blended learning in the faculty for last semester. I hope this current semester we will at least maintain the 60% so, or we can even do better. Okay, again, to reiterate what we have actually done regarding the blended learning checklist, course information, content, resources, activities, and assessment. These are the minimum items required in each of these category. And participation is crucial. I've told for activities and assessment, the participation is very crucial. So why is it crucial? Now, last semester, we did not have this blended learning indicator. But as of CAM has said that they will reassign these indicators in the coming semesters. Okay, they are working on how to actually go about doing it. Remember, we actually had an upgrade in the system. So they've upgraded the eLEAP, UNIMAS eLEAP, and that's when they wanted to do something better to this. So here I got a snapshot of my semester 1 for MDP 10108. So this is the blended learning status. It's got 3 stars here, the maximum star that you can achieve, and this is the requirement. Remember, 1732, 7 resources, 3 activities, and 2 assessment. And actual representation in the course was this much. This number of resources and this number of activities was conducted, and this number of assessments were actually carried out. So this is an indication. So what does that mean? To measure the quality of your blended learning practices by gauging at the activity participation of your students in the activities that you have created. Okay, so what it does mean? Minimum 1 participation for each activity and 3 submissions for each assessment. When you have this, then you achieve 1 star. And then if you get 2 star, when 30% of the total enrolled students participated. Out of the 100 students enrolled in your course, 30 of them actually have done this, the activity, and 3 submissions for each assessment. And then more than 3, they get 30% of them have actually submitted the assessment. So when you achieve this number, then you get 2 stars. if you achieve more than 50% of your learners actually doing the activity and submitting whatever materials that they are required, so then you will have 3 stars. Okay. I hope there are no questions at this juncture. If you have any questions, please stop me at any time, or we can wait for the Q&A later, and then we can address the questions then. Next, how are we going to do an engaging students meaningfully? How? So I've given here about 5 sections here, where the A to B I will cover that, and then the E part, like I said, the exciting part is when the special guest stars are going to come and share their viewpoint on how they have conducted blended learning in their own courses. So let's go to the first one, A, communication. How we communicate with our learners, how we can communicate with our learners. So these are examples that I'm going to show you using WhatsApp, and also regarding something to do with QR code, how you utilize QR code in order for you to actually engage the students. Now, next we'll go to eLEAP. How do you add an activity? I'll show you regarding how to go about doing a choice, okay, so that you will actually have an experience of how it can be done. And then this is very important. I would really highlight this: instructional design and e-learning materials. Okay, I'll give you an example of MDP 20208, and you can see how in that course you can actually see the difference of how you can actually conduct this. And then I'll give you one example of H5P, where H5P is a kind of an activity that you can do very easy. It's a video clip where you can have built-in sort of like pockets of assessment where the learners can actually engage it while viewing the video clip. Okay, first one, I'm going to give you a scenario here. While you, as an instructor, busy writing or composing your messages in WhatsApp, you have sent the first composed message, and then later you add in further details. While you are doing this, some of your enthusiastic students suddenly interrupt the flow of your message. They start asking and responding to your posting. Okay, so this is actually I wouldn't say a big problem, but it's sometimes a nuisance, because it will disrupt your flow of message that you're writing, you're posting on the thing. But if you have composed it everything in one go and then you put it in at one go, then it's fine. But if you're going to start doing it in smaller chunks of messages, then some students might come in and ask you for questions and all that. So to solve that, there are 2 ways of doing it. So I will share with you all the 2 ways of doing it. So the first one I would call tag it. This is what he calls by tagging it. So I have told my students, whenever they see this button start, that means I am going to post a message. The message is important, and you need to abstain yourself from disrupting the flow of the message. So this is the message that I actually post. 1, 2, and then I put an image, and then 3, and then 4, and then 5. The last one, I normally ask, any query is most welcome. Okay, and then I put stop. Stop. When they see the stop button, that shows that I have finished with my posting. So now they are free to ask me questions. Then they will start bombarding me with all the questions. Okay, I don't have that slide here, but then they will start coming and asking me questions, and then I will address the questions. So that's one way of doing it. Okay. Now the other way of doing it is here. I'm sorry, but this is snapshots are based on iOS, and it's you basically it's for iPhone, but not to worry. The Android version, all you have to go to is group settings. Okay, look for group settings. You have your group of your students WhatsApp group made. Under that, you look for group settings. So when you click the group setting, what you will get is these two pop-ups that will come up here is sending messages and then edit group info. Now, sending message by default, it will be given all participants. All participants, board will be all participants. Now you can actually stop that, okay, by changing it to only admins. Once you change it to only admins, that means you as the administrator of the group chat will be allowed to post certain postings, but nobody else will be able to post. So nobody can ask you any questions or anything at the moment. Okay. Similarly, the edit group info, nobody else can change. You can actually change it to admins. So this is how it will look like, only admins. So nobody else can actually play with it now. So these are the two ways of doing it. This is the first one, which was the tagging. The second one was the actual change of the group settings in their WhatsApp group settings page. Now there are pros and cons for both of them. Okay. The second one especially, I don't do this because you will have to actually create another mirror group where your students can actually interact with you. No means you will actually have personal messages, so many personal messages. Okay, if you banking on personal messages after your posting in the group message, students view passively, they will only view, they can't interact, then they will actually have to personal message you now. So that personal message will not be known to the whole class. So I normally do not use this. Okay, this is probably good for marketing strategy and all that. Now you just market, you just passively give your viewers whatever information. You take it and then you do whatever you want with it. Okay, so that's the hindsight of this particular technique. Next, we're going to ask the question: how good is the quality of our execution of online learning? What are we doing? So there are three things that we need to address. First thing is the course design. Have we designed our course in such a way that it is the best quality for our students? Is it so? And then what are the learning resources that are actually providing our students? And then finally the learning activities. What are we doing? Okay. Now, this is from a snapshot from Prof. Karim's workshop. He likes to use this model, which is a Gilly Salmon's 5-stage model, where access and motivation is important for getting hold of the learners, and then creating an online socialization kind of atmosphere, and then information exchange, how we actually do the knowledge sharing, whatever methods that you use to actually do the knowledge sharing. You want to break out into smaller rooms, or you want to do it in a classroom. So those are the things that comes into how the information exchange is carried out. Knowledge construction, how do you actually systematically give them in a bite size so that they are able to absorb it. And then finally development meaning how is the supporting things that you're providing for your students to come back to you if they have any problem. Okay, whether you're doing any formative assessment in the classroom itself or not. So those are the things that need to be addressed in this type of model. Now, very simple is understanding that the focus of the online session is learning design. Okay, focus on the design of your materials that you are actually putting in, not the content. Okay, the content can be given a guide for them to go and read on their own. You don't have to emphasize on teaching everything, whatever that your lecture is covering. Okay, but you can actually guide them. These are the things that you need to do. One example you can give them. Okay, so here is a guideline again, a guideline of how you can actually do this kind of activities. 70% are activities. You need to engage them with activities. You can have a closure meaning that it's sort of like a summary, whatever that you have done, trying to recall back what you've actually done for the last half an hour and so on. And then finally a reflection, asking the students, what have you learned? What have you learned from this session? Try to make a summary out of that. Probably a good practice is to tell your students to always keep a notepad or notebook right in front of the terminal so that they can actually jot down, because this is going online, so you are not able to take, you don't need to take notes because everything is being recorded and so on, but you need to highlight certain things that you're saying so that they will have a mental picture at the end of the day. These are the things that I have covered, these are the things that I want to do. Okay. Bite size learning is very important. I've seen so many in the beginning of last year where a 1 hour lecture is crammed up in a video and uploaded. 1 hour. That's amazing. You know? As a learner, I myself, I don't know how I will actually sit there and watch that 1 hour show. Okay. Even sometimes a very good Marvel movie also can put you to sleep. But imagine you talking there in front of the terminal, and then without giving any sectioning and all that, the students will have to go through the whole thing, fast forward or whatever. So try to put yourself in their shoe and then see how you can help them. Okay, try to construct a bite-sized learning in order for them to understand easily, and then give them activities to carry out, and then proceed on to the next thing. Okay, so bite-size is very important. Here's another example from Prof. Karim's slides. It says that activity, start with an activity, and then you can have a lecture, a mini lecture, and then again you need to put in some activity, and then you can have another 15 minutes of lecture, and all add up between an hour, close to an hour. So this is what a compact thing. It's just a guideline. So the title, as it says, how not to bore your students. Okay. Okay, let's come to that section B now. So I told you activities. How do you want to actually engage the activities? So the activities here, if you go back to, let's cut here and go back to here. Okay. Now in here, you will have to put yourself on editing mode, and then you scroll down to the last bit here. This is called week one. So basically week one, which I renamed it as 6th October, which is today. And what we have done under that particular topic, you will come to this hotspot here where it says add an activity. If you click on that, you'll be taken to a dialog box where it gives you all option, activities, resources, or recommended. So if you press activity, this is what you see. Okay, this is what you see. These are all the things that there are within the eLEAP platform. So I'm not claiming that I know everything. Okay, I'm not claiming that I know everything. What I usually know is I've circled here. These are the things that I have used. Okay, these are the things that I've used. So I'm very familiar with this. But every semester or whenever I'm free, I will venture into a new app. Okay, I'll venture into a new app and I'll start learning them and then see whether I can use it for the next session. Okay, so you can do the same thing. You can learn on your own. Okay, there is a lot of help or guide that when you engage this app, you will be able to, it will be able to help you. Okay. So that's on the activity. And you can also toggle to resources, and then you'll see the resources are here. How do you actually put in your resources? A file is a very common thing that you put. Even you can upload a folder. I've never used this. Maybe in the future I might want to look at it. These are the common things that I've used very often. A page is also something that I've never used, but maybe I should look into it. Okay, what you're comfortable with, you can do it. You do it to the best knowledge that you have. Okay, recommended. This is just recommended. No? Okay, these are the things that I've done under recommended. And attendance, I've never done that, so I'm definitely going to venture into it this particular semester. Okay, okay, C and D are now engaging students meaningfully. These are three things that I do practice personally, and you can see what I mean by this. For this, we need to go into okay, this is last year's. Yeah. Okay. This is MDP 20208, and you can see what I mean by a design. A design. Now, bear in mind, this is integrated. We do integrated teaching in our blogs, postings, and also in some of the courses that we are teaching under the nursing program. So therefore, what happens is that there are many people contributing to a particular week, how they conduct their teaching. Their learning materials are being presented. Okay, here is a lot of histology and anatomy things are being highlighted. So once it comes to me, my part I want to put in there. I sort of like telling the students that this is different. This is regarding Helicobacter pylori. So I've highlighted in some colorful things to tell them that this is about Helicobacter pylori, and these are all the resources. They know that they see the PDF file science the icons, so they know that. Then I write another statement there saying the audio-visual presentation of the microbiology of Helicobacter. If they go to this URL, they'll know that www is a URL. So when they click that, they'll go to a clip and they will see a video on the microbiology of Helicobacter pylori. And then this is just to capture their imagination, to highlight the highlight of the whole thing. This is a lab kind of demonstration where the test result for Helicobacter pylori, the pink color is very important. So I've actually captured that pink color and put it here. And these are all self-made video clips of live demonstration in the lab. Okay, and it was made into a short video clips, and they are very short video clips. I did not put them into 15 or 20 minutes, but it's a very short, under 10 minutes, and they are all addressing the important part of the test itself. So the students will know which one they want to go in and look into it. So these are basically for one particular knowledge chunk that has been created. So this is what we call the design of that particular lecture. Okay, it is not one whole 1 hour class material which are put together. Okay, so you need to compartmentalize so the students can actually go into the right thing that they want to learn, and they can be able to learn accordingly. So that's the whole idea of creating this course design. Okay, and let's go back to the PowerPoint slide. Micro learning, personalized learning, and that's what meant by personalized learning. And retrieval practice is giving them some kind of examples of how you can do assessment between the video clip. This is what I'll show you in the next part, H5P, how we can actually do an interactive video using H5P. Okay, active engagement. Okay, so I've given here two examples. You can view them, and let's see, turn editing on. Okay, they are at the moment hidden, so I will release this. This is just to summarize that we have actually learned about blended learning checklist. So I've actually making it available for you to see it. That's just an image to make you recall that we've actually covered blended learning checklist. Now, next one is, show, and this is to show the H5P. Okay, these are two examples. Why am I showing you two examples? Is that this is a video clip which is made externally and imported that format, which is called H5P format, and then has been put into the eLEAP. Okay, I'm not going to show you that part here today. I'm going to show you this one, and this one, and also I'm highlighting to you the importance of, again, design. Okay, you have a small explanation about what this is all about. Okay, this is an example here, Helicobacter pylori, showing that it's about Helicobacter pylori. The video clip shows a basic outline of Helicobacter pylori's bacterium, Helicobacter pylori bacterium. It highlights the virulence factors of the bacteria. That's all it highlights, nothing else, nothing else. So if you look at that, okay, 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 I hope you can hear.
Help in adhering to cells. Another important virulent factor H. pylori have is an enzyme on the surface known as urease. Now, urease is very important in Helicobacter pylori survival. What urease does is that it converts urea and water to carbon dioxide and ammonia. And this is important, and we'll soon see why.
Okay, so I've only done a 1 minute and 17 seconds kind of a video clip that I've taken from a bigger one, and show you again the outline of how I did that. So that one I've clipped it only to ask the questions relevant to the virulence factor. 3 virulence factor for example. So 3 virulence factor that I'm going to ask, and you can see these are the things that the key point where I'm engaging the student. I'm asking them questions relating to gram, relating to urease, relating to virulence factor. Okay, how did I create this? Let's go back again here, this part here, and when the things comes there,
H. pylori.
Now, if the students were to click that, this is the question that will pop out. Helicobacter pylori is gram positive. Okay, okay. If I answer true, check. Wrong. It's a bit wrong. I think I made a mistake there. So gram positive. Check. Okay, right. Then you can move on.
Have flagella, which help in motility.
You can see that.
Around.
You can check that.
Helicobacter pylori is a gram-negative
bacteria. Okay. So
here I'm drawing sort of simplified structure of the bacteria. H. pylori.
Okay, click that. Okay, Helicobacter pylori is gram positive. Okay, it's false. So therefore, that's the right answer. Continue.
Have flagella, which help in motility, in moving around.
The next question.
It also has DNA, which is circular within it. Some important virulent factors that Helicobacter pylori possess.
Urease. Now, question asked, urease is used by Helicobacter pylori to produce hydrochloric acid, make urea, digest carbon dioxide. So the answer is digest urea. Okay, check. Yes, it's right. Go on. If let's say if you choose the wrong answer, okay, let's see what happens here.
And ammonia.
Okay, virulence factor. Okay, among the virulence factor, which one enables the bacteria to move? Let's say I put lipopolysaccharide. Okay, wrong. Huh? Now here there's 2 ways. You can actually see the answer immediately if the student wants to see it directly, or if you want to retry. Okay, retry, and then if the student answered again wrongly, you get wrong answer. Okay, now I give up. I just see the answer. Okay, retry. Okay, and urease.
And this is important, and we'll soon see why.
Okay, and then the summary will be given at the end. How did you actually perform? You've answered 3 questions. You then submit the answer, and this is what you get the score. Okay. Okay, so that's one way of what we call H5P. Okay, now this H5P, we will do an example now, and we will see how we can actually go about doing it. Now, My advice to y'all is when you want to create a H5P kind of activity, you need to have a working Word file or whatever that you create. Now, here are some guidelines that you actually do. First, you need to have the video clip. Okay, the video clip can be in the form of, like I said, first formatted H5P or self-made clip, or you can download it from YouTube. Okay, once you download from YouTube, you need to have a downloader. You get whatever files that you want to download. Now, once you download that, you need to edit the video. You can't put the entire video there to actually ask the question. You want to be focused on what you're asking, bite size. That's the focus of the idea is to focus. So edit the video. Okay, there are many other softwares out there which you can utilize to edit the video. Since I'm using a Mac, Mac is already having a very good this one iMovie. You can use iMovie. It's a very user friendly, and you can edit things very easily. I'm not an expert in editing movies, but I'm very comfortable with it now. Okay? And I'm very sure Android or even IBM or PC, other PCs will have their own softwares that you can actually use to do the editing. I can find out for y'all, no problem. If you can let me have some time, I'll definitely share with you what are the editing tools that's available in the other available editing tools. Then you need a compressing video. Once you've edited the video, you've taken it out. This is the clip that I want to use. You need to compress it to make it as small as possible. Now, once you've compressed it, then the video is ready. So now here I will show you. These are the files that I have at the moment. Yeah, this is the file that is the actual file, which is quite big. Then once I've actually done the sort of like clipping already compressed file. This is the one. This is the compressed file, which is very small now. It's manageable. So you go back to yeah, you go back to here. Go back to add activity, and then here is something. Don't get confused. Sometimes I myself will get confused. That's H5P here. Do not choose that. Go for interactive content. H5P interactive content. Click on that, and then you will have to have a display description on course page. Okay, we'll put that on. Go back to your Word file. Doesn't allow me to do that. Okay, never mind. We go here. Okay, here this is what I've copied. This is a good practice to have it in the external files, because when you write and then something goes wrong here and the whole thing will disappear, then you will have a hard time redoing anything, and you'll be getting very frustrated with that. And then here you choose interactive video. I have not ventured into looking at all these too many things. There's just multiple choices. So here all these options, I've never ventured into doing that. I'm comfortable with interactive video. Okay, now it'll be loading the template. I can go off from the tour, add a video. I click on that. Now there's two choices here. Two choices. One is paste your YouTube link, which I don't want to do that. I'm going to the upload video file. Here I select the one that is already been compressed. Okay, I'm putting that in. It's available now. Next, I go to add interaction. Okay, add interaction. Okay, I play the video.
In this video, we're going to look at Helicobacter pylori. The bacteria known to cause
I know where
ulcers.
exactly I want to see.
H. pylori have flagella, which help in motility, in moving around. It also has DNA.
Okay, I want to put a question there. Okay, leave it there. I labeled it as flagella. Okay, I'm going to say true, false. Well, I can keep it as true, false. Not sure how I prepared. I've already prepared the question for flagella. Among the virulence factor, which one enables the bacterium to move? Okay, so that is my question here. Okay, maybe not there. Okay, I don't want to place it in that particular slot. Maybe later. Maybe I'll ask when the video is already in here. Okay. Now put a no. It's not a true false. No, not a true false. Sorry. It's multiple choice. So here are various different modality of questions that you can ask. One is true, false, and multiple choice. These are the common things that I've done. I even tried blanks. Okay, you can actually use 2 blanks. Now again, in here, this is the tour. The tour will, anytime you want to get an explanation of what you're actually doing, you can go back to tour and click on tour, and the tour will give you a sort of like a guide on how to actually engage these buttons and so on. So for this purpose, I want to have multiple choice. Okay, multiple choice, and I want to put as, go back to highlights the virulence factor of the bacteria. Yes, and then go to ask, label is flagella. Okay, and then the question. Okay, the question is here, which is okay, among the virulence factor, which one enables the bacterium to move? So that's the question. Okay, text 1 option. I put lipopolysaccharide, and then next 2 flagella, then 3 that option urease, and you have to give the answer. The answer is flagella. Okay. Done. Okay, so at this juncture is where this thing will pop up, and you can place it somewhere where it doesn't obstruct the information given in the video. You put it in a white spot. So that's how, and you can even go and edit here. This is what, or you can even rename it or remove it, and then you can start all over again where you want to put it. Okay, so that's how it's going to be. Once you're comfortable with that, save and display, or save and return to the course. Okay, text field is required, or title. No? Title is actually flagella. Okay. Okay, that's the title that you will see in here, flagella. Okay, now if we click this, and this is
in this video, we're going to look at Helicobacter pylori, the bacteria known to cause peptic ulcers as well as duodenal ulcers. Helicobacter pylori is a gram-negative rod bacteria. Here I'm drawing sort of simplified structure of the bacteria. Helicobacter pylori possesses include lipopolysaccharides,
and the question comes,
which help in adhering to cells.
And you answer the question, check. Okay, you got it right. That's it. And that's
Another
how you do
important
an
virulence
interactive
factor H. pylori have
in your
is
video clip itself.
enzyme on the surface known as urease.
So
Now, urease is very
that's
important
about
in
H5P. Yeah,
Helicobacter
that's all,
pylori survival.
and we can move on.
What urease does is that it converts
to this one. So, in a nutshell, we've covered most of the things that I wanted to cover in the first place, and what we have finished up here so far is okay. We've done the blended learning checklist. We've gone through the 4 different parts that's very important. And then the blended learning status review for semester 2 that we have done that. We highlighted that most of the postgraduate courses did not fulfill for being a blended learning status. And I've highlighted 4 different aspects of how you can actually engage your students communication wise. And then you can actually use H5P and also how other very important thing, which is the instructional design, which is very important, how you can actually construct when you are doing an integrative or integrated kind of teaching in one course. So you need to highlight certain, try to put yourself in your student's shoe and see how you can actually help them to do things. And now I finished all this part. Now we come to the highlight of today's session. Okay, here we have okay, 3 staff that has kindly agreed to share their experience in conducting various activities that has helped them. Dr. Angela will be talking about how the biochemists have come up with a particular method called tidbits in biochemistry to engage the students in an online setting. And Miss Amelia will be talking mostly on feedback that she has gathered being the coordinator in MDP 20208, and she has gathered information. What are the preference that the students would like, and addressing that to her contributors in her block, and the lessons that they have learned and how it can benefit you as a instructor or even course contributors. And then lastly, Dr. Paul will give you a very, what I would say is that students like this because you go real time, and you conduct certain activities with them real time. Now, the only thing is that the real time activities, which we call it synchronized, you have to be aware that some students will have difficulties in this kind of activities. Students who have got bad connectivity, but overall majority of our students normally enjoy real time, and see how Dr. Paul has made a very dry subject into a lively kind of entertaining, and students like about that session. So he will share later on that. Now I would like to invite Dr. Angela to share with us her experience on conducting tidbits. Okay, Angela, it's up to you now. Okay, thank you
for the opportunity to share about the experience of the biochemist using blended learning. So the reason what happened was that before last year we did do tutorials with the year 1 students. But we did it using paper and pen. So last year, due to COVID, and so the students were not on campus, so we had to find another way to do the tutorial, and we decided to do it using the online platform Microsoft Teams, and we renamed our tutorial as Biochem Tidbits, because instead of having one big 2-hour to 3-hour long session, we cut it into 3 different parts. So almost like little bits. So we call it tidbits. And the objective of our interactive activity was that from previous years of teaching biochemistry to year 1 students, we have found that students find it hard to learn the topic well, and because biochemistry can be a bit dry if you are not majoring in biochemistry, and it's also not a secret that medical students don't like biochemistry. And so in order to encourage the students to have a better appreciation of the topics that they're learning, so we came up with this tutorial. So last year, so the planning of the activity was done online because even the lecturers were not able to meet face-to-face. So what we did was we planned the activity over 3 different sessions, because we had several lectures, and we combined a few of these lectures as one topic for one tidbit discussion. So we had 3 different tidbit sessions actually during that 1 week that we fondly call Biochem Week, because during that whole week it's mostly dedicated to lectures related to do with biochemistry, the topics in biochemistry. So as you can see here, I've shown you sharing with you the other aspect of our tidbit, and that is the first thing we did was we share the materials for each of the topic, either in the form of PDF or voice over PowerPoint or videos. And then a few days later, we gave them the task or the assignment, and this is the assignment that we gave them. Several questions related to each topic, and asking them to give or to explain things that they can only do if they had learned the material that we had given them beforehand. So and then they are supposed to submit individually, although if you look here, it's group, because there's 150 students. So what we did was each student is to submit their own answer firstly, because we grade them on their answer. But for the tidbit part, the tutorial, they will attend the tutorial in groups. And so we had 150 divided by 4, because there are 4 biochemists. And in each of the biochemist teams or rooms, there will be these groups, so group of students. And so we called up randomly the group to explain in person why they said what they said for the different questions. So we did it as a combination of use of eLEAP as well as Microsoft Teams. So here I've just shown you the icon for my team. So unfortunately, last year we didn't think of documenting the students' experience. It didn't occur to us to do that, but fortunately for us, as is the standard practice in the medical program, after each block there will be a course evaluation. So Dr. Ashley did a course evaluation for his block, and some students did express that they like the biochem tidbits. So we did have some form of indirect feedback regarding our activity. In terms of our experience as an instructor in conducting this activity, it was quite interesting because previously we would meet face-to-face, and it's easier to discuss when you're face-to-face. But due to COVID, we were not able to do that. But we used WhatsApp group chat as well as Teams in our preparation for the questions for the task for the students. as well as the answer scheme. So even though the students will see different biochemists because there are 4 rooms, which will but we all had the same answer scheme. So basically they still had similar standard answers to refer to, and of course the biochemists themselves give it more human experience to the answers, or more, how to say, in-depth explanation. So it was quite interesting that way, and also it was a small group activity. So compared to the activity when we did face-to-face before this, I think this one is had a different feeling to it in terms of the students being able to ask questions that they might not want to ask had it been in a bigger group. So what are our future plans? We will do it again this year, not just because we had nice words from the students themselves, but because it also showed that when the students take charge, or when the students are given a chance to do something with the information that they have, they seem to learn better. So we will do it again this year, and we will this time we will not forget to document the experience. So thank you very much for listening. I'll be happy to take your questions. Thank you.
Okay, welcome back. Maybe if Amelia is ready, we can start.
So, Assalamualaikum and good afternoon. Thank you, Dr. Ashley. Okay, I'm not going to touch on interactive activities, okay, as me myself have experience on this, but I'm going to share some points that might be able to improve our online activities. And these are based on the feedback from students from 3 courses that I coordinated, okay, especially MDP 2020 and 2 another generic courses, okay. But this point is not specifically focused on eLEAP itself, but also the online teaching as a whole, okay. So I'm sure all of us had planned our online teaching and learning for the next coming semester, and hoping that the student will engage actively, okay. So, but how sure we are that the student will be able to access our content and benefit from our planned activity? Okay, so all of these are based on the feedback from the student. So I summarize it all. Okay, the first point here is I want to highlight is to improve our course accessibility to all. Okay, during my blog, many lecturers had produced very interesting and interactive recorded lecture and shared in eLEAP. But I think there is not much problem with accessing eLEAP itself. But the problem comes when the student want to get the content, okay? So in my blog, some share it from UNIMAS SharePoint, while others share their YouTube link. And these are some of the feedback from the student, okay? I think most of them suggested that we put our video lecture in YouTube, okay? I'm not sure why there is this problem with SharePoint, but I think it is important for us to choose the best method to share our materials so that students who have limited internet access will be able to access the lecture material also, okay? So if anyone have any idea on how best to share our video recorded lecture, then maybe after this can share your suggestion lah, okay? So this is some of the feedback from the student. Okay. The second point is about doing flipped classroom. Okay. Majority of the student finds that combination of lecture notes, okay, case study, and then live discussion help them to understand and more of the topic, and they really like this kind of interactive activity. Okay, so for my blog, I think pathology and biochemistry have done a great job on this. Okay, they will post the lecture note together with a case study 1 week prior to the scheduled class, and then they will have live discussion with the student via MS Team, I think. Okay, so during this live discussion, the student will be able to ask questions directly to the lecturer. So I think with this information, we can plan what kind of activities that we can do for our student, and what kind of learning resources and learning activities that we can put it in our eLEAP. Okay. So this is their feedback. Okay. Many of them did mention that combination of synchronous and asynchronous lecture gave them a better understanding to each topic. Okay. Lecture note, case study, online classes. So as for demo for practical session, I found out that students prefer live demo rather than asynchronous recorded version. If I'm not mistaken, all of practical session for my blog were done asynchronously, except for parasitology practical that was done by Dr. Paul. Okay, so Dr. Paul live demo practical session really stood up during my blog, as majority of the students commented they gained a lot during this session compared to usual asynchronous version. Okay, maybe we can try to do this kind of demo also for clinical session. Okay, however, I'm not sure whether this is applicable to all discipline. Okay, so this is some of the feedback from the student. Actually banyak lagi the feedback from the student about Dr. Paul's punya online demo. Okay. Okay, the third point that I want to point out here is about segmenting our activities into shorter sequences. Okay, whether it's synchronous or asynchronous. Okay, synchronously, okay, we can do this by taking a few minute breaks in between. Okay, 15 or 20-minute lectures, or doing some quick Q&A, or summarizing the key point. Or for asynchronous recorded lecture, it is advisable if we can segment it into a few short videos and uploaded it separately in eLEAP. Okay, and furthermore, as mentioned by our student in the feedback, downloading long video can taking up too much of the internet data. Okay, so hopefully this information can help us to plan what kind of recorded version of lecture that we want to put in eLEAP later. Okay, this is the feedback from student. Okay, in between break, such as 10-minute break, and they prefer lecture video made in partition. Okay, and then recording was long and took up a lot of internet data. So I think this is kind of information that we need to know in order to prepare for our sources that we're going to put in our eLEAP letter. Next is checking comprehension of our student. Okay, this can be either by a quick Q&A during live lecture, or some quiz or formative assessment that we can put it in eLEAP. Okay, in my blog, usually lecturer will create a simple quiz in eLEAP that consists of 4 to 5 simple questions. Okay, some lecturers also incorporated the question in the recorded lecture, meaning that the student need to view the video, then only they will be able to know the question. Okay, some also use Google Form, or also use some gamification to do this, for example by using Kahoot. Okay, so that actually student ask for this Q&A, so I think we can at least have some assessment to put in our eLEAP, or we can do as Dr. Ashley done before this, during this session, the choice one. Okay, so that is some of the example of formative assessment that we can do. Okay, so that we can fulfill the assessment part in the eLEAP. And lastly, for any activities that we plan for our student, I think it is very important to give them the feedback. Okay, so this will help them to know whether they have achieved understanding or not, and if individual feedback is impractical, I think we can share model answer or link to sources. I think it is very important also to let the student know that they will receive the feedback after they do the activities. I think that also one of the forcing point for them to participate in this in all the assessment that you put in the eLEAP, because kalau mereka tahu yang tak ada feedback will give after the assignment or quiz, then I think they will not attempt some of the assignment or quiz that you put in the eLEAP. Then we will lose some of the participation percentage there. Okay, so I think that's all from me, not much, but I hope all this point will help us to plan our online activities for this coming semester and help us in planning what kind of course design and learning resources or learning activities that we want to put in eLEAP. I think that's all from me.
Thank you very much, Amelia. I think that's definitely a very useful pointers that you have highlighted. The feedback from students actually gives us a platform where we can try to gauge our teaching and learning activities based on their needs. This is basically like a needs analysis that you have actually done, and you're put in a nice point form for us to follow. Anyway, this video recording will be provided to everyone, and you can actually view for yourself how those points can actually help you to plan for your upcoming teaching and learning in the new semester. Okay. Now we move on to the last special guest star, which is Dr. Paul. Paul, are you ready?
Yeah. Okay, and let me share my PowerPoint first. Basically, why I'm doing this is that during the pandemic, I got so bored and tired of being student. I'm not around in this faculty. You mean you say you are working in a university, and yet it doesn't look like a university when there are no students. And then for practicology, laboratory, practical, there's a lot of hands-on actually. Although there are not many practicology practical in the phase 1 curriculum. There's only in block 3 blood immunology, where the students have practicals on the blood preparations of the blood film from malaria parasites, and also in GIT block, where they have a chance to actually do stool smear and examine it under the microscope. But during the pandemic, they cannot do that at all. So this is actually the problem why actually I'm doing this. So actually, all teaching learning activities are taught online. I mean, there's a pros and cons, but I'm looking at more than cons at that time, because student for practicology lab practical, they need to go to the lab and do the experiment or do the test themselves. And then student has no access to the lab. I mean, it's very obvious because they are not here. And there's no laboratory practical sessions. Everything will be online. Right? So online is actually not fun. And in fact, if they want to learn, if they want to just do it online, they can just go to the YouTube, and the process are all the same. Right? So basically, students actually deprived of face-to-face learning and hands-on practical. I mean, they did mention that as well. They really want to go back to the lab, but they can't. So is asynchronous or lecture type asynchronous laboratory practical sessions educate for the student. So what I'm doing here is that I'm putting myself having a live reality TV of a cooking show. When you do things in the lab, you're actually just like you're in the kitchen and mix all your ingredients and do your cooking, and then get the results. The same thing. So and then I put myself, it's like a reality TV show. We have all your students are your audience. Okay, they can interact with you. They can see what you are doing. So I'm putting it. I just put putting myself like if you're looking at a live cooking show, or if you are also, I mean, these are all based on the ideas that I got from all the TVs, or like the Kim Kardashian, for example, because everything is live. So there's no room for mistake. Even there's a mistakes, then you can correct them in front of the students. I mean, there's everything's live, right? So for the prostology practical, right? So because we have labs, and during the pandemic, there's no student. The labs or teaching labs are very, how to say, dormant, inactive. So we have all of these equipments, we have all of these rooms and everything samples. So might as well I just do the lab practical live and having students to interact with me while I'm doing it. Okay, so early preparation is very important. So I work with MLT in charge during that time, Madam Azima. She is very useful, and also I very interested to be part of this preparation, because, like I said, when you don't have lab practical sessions, so the MLT myself might be get bored of not having any student be part of the teaching. So I'm work closely with them. Okay, the preparations are actually quite tedious, like at first, because my first experience of this was when I did when I was in the JIT block, the first experience. So I had a dry run. So I had a dry run with all the MLTs. The MLTs, I invited them. They are becoming the students lah, and then they can give feedback of the dry line online sessions. So I have to make sure that the lightings are good. I have enough cameras. The cameras are good. Internet connection must be very smooth in the lab also. And also testing on the Microsoft Teams. During that time, I haven't explored so much about the Microsoft Teams, how to do this, how to highlight the screen so that the student can see me live in a full screen, okay? And also have to pay all the preparation, the equipment, samples, microscopic images, and everything. And also, it is very important for a particular procedures or laboratory procedures, creation of YouTube videos is very useful. For example, Madam Azima also helped me to prepare pre-recording videos, the Scotch tape test for diagnosis of pinworm, and also BFMP. And this, so we sit down together, edit the video and everything, and this will be put up in the eLEAP. So this is like a backup. Okay. And then this is what I mentioned just now. This is an example in the blood and tissue, in the blood immunology block 3. So I prepared everything, and the pre-recording videos, I put it in the eLEAP. So student not only will go for the live session, but they also have a learn from the pre-recording video. They can play the videos for many times, right? Okay, the setting up. So setting up, I use whatever I have. You can see the educate light. I have 2 ring lights here. The one on the left that I bought myself, and on the right is from the lab. So I use everything. This is the only lights that we have, although the lab itself is a very bright labs. All right, and samples are all there. Setting up, it's just like we're doing a real practical sessions, right? And also for you can see I use my own laptop. You can see I have to elevate level of my laptop using that basket. So whatever I have in the lab, I just use it. And then 2 cameras is very important here. One built-in cameras. The built-in cameras will be focusing on me when I want to communicate with the student. And then the other one is the external cameras that will be focusing on the samples or on the procedures itself. So that so how to change from these 2 cameras? This is the thing I learned during the preparations or during the dry run. I can switch the camera after I finish the procedures. Then I can switch the cameras and the student focus on my face while working, something like that. Okay, and also extra hands are very helpful. So I have the MLPs during that time, Miss Azima and Mr. Ashar. 2 of them are very helpful, and also I have Dr. Khatijah who helped me to become a person for being able to be pricked for the BFMP. Okay, So this is the setting up. So during the live sessions, so I have to be aware of which camera that I'm using. So this for on your left side, you can see how to examine slide under the microscope. It's easy for me to actually to tell them this is how you should do to use a microscope. This is for the block 3 because the first year students, so I have to remind them how to examine the malaria parasites from lower magnifications or higher applications objectives. Okay, how to teach them to use a proper microscope and so on. On the right side, you can see I also tell them or I can discuss with them or show them actually how to do a Scotch tape test for the diagnosis of pinworm for sample collections. Now, this is the opportunity also that I have to borrow the mannequin from the from the lab as well, and also teach them how to do this and that, all the procedures. And during at the same time, they have the opportunity to ask me the questions. What if how to do this and how to do that? So there's a very active interactions while doing it. Okay. And also there are like a more explanation. You can see that I'm looking at the camera, looking at the camera itself. Means that I have switched the camera so that they can look at me while I'm answering the questions. And you can see on the right side, Madam Azima is showing them on how to do, the label, wrong labeling. Actually, she's trying to show the students how to do a stool smear live. So the student have the opportunity see that how to do the procedure properly. So we can repeat again the process. Okay, and then of course the live sessions does not it actually does not take very long time. So usually it won't take more than 1 hour. So it's a very short sessions. And then of course I have to test them. In the academic situations, so we have a different kinds of assessment where they have to answer some question and submit their lab book. For this pandemic assessment, so I use an eLEAP as an assessment. So where I create this OSPI-like station, they can answer, and then all of these images are taken actually from the lab practicals, from the live lab practicals. I can ask them based on these images. So these are the questions, different kinds of questions lah. So this is actually to test them immediately after the practical sessions. Right? And of course, at the same time, at the end of the practical session, I ask the student about their feedback lah, using the Mentimeter platform. And majority of them, I would say, last year, for the previous students, 148 students, approximately 140 students were able to attend live practical sessions, and they are all of them are good. All of them gave a very good feedback. 111 of them participated in this Mentimeter, and they very received very overwhelming response. All right, and then you can see that they're not bored with answer the question immediately. So they really like it. Actually. Even I can joke with them that we are doing stool smear. So I hope students, you are not eating while watching this live video, because we're going to play with stool. So those are the kind of thing like to brighten up the session. Okay. So what I've learned is live practical session. So I put myself in their shoes actually. Asynchronous, I feel very bored of watching videos, but during live sessions, actually you can communicate. Interaction with the student is very important here, because then it feels like we are in the university. We have students that we can talk with, and the student can ask you for guidance. So I'm also have the opportunity to learning new skills. The new skills is doing live practical sessions in front of everybody. Also the preconditions of this, setting up of cameras. This is actually very very tedious, but I learned of these preparations for many new skills from here. Okay, so basically doing live actually is very easy than you preparing recording slides or video, because if you do a pre-recording slides or video, sometimes you listen back to your own videos, you might say something wrong again recording, and then you don't like your voice again, you know, they have to repeat again recording. But doing live is just like you're doing a normal lecture or normal live article. You just go ahead. And then I had fun because I can communicate with us. Right? And of course, for the future plan, I think I will just continue with what I'm going to do, because I already know what steps, and also already involved that this is what we do. Okay, and I think I'm just going to maintain this, and this probably I will change a little bit on the assessment lah, making the assessments more catchy or more informative. Yeah, I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Anyway, Paul, I've got two questions, anyway, very technical ones. You had two cameras linked to the MacBook, but the two cameras, can they show the view simultaneously?
No, no. Unfortunately, no. Only one. It's only one camera at a time. So that's why using the Microsoft Team, also I have to learn on how to switch camera from one camera to another camera lah. So sometimes it's good to have two cameras at the same time, but then I don't know how to do that, so I just go ahead by just using the switch camera. I mean,
Okay. The next question is, when you ask for their feedback, did you ask what was the total number of students in the class? 111.
During that time, 140 or something like that lah.
140, okay.
Yeah.
Did any one of them have any problem with internet connectivity?
Yes, they do have some of them, not all. Only one or two they have internet connectivity, but actually the student rep recorded everything. Okay, then they share it with they share it with the block coordinator, like Madam Tay for the block 3, so to put it in the eLEAP of my live.
Okay.
So I don't know actually about for me to record everything. So they're going to do recording and share it with the block coordinator.
Okay. So you didn't handle the recording, but somebody else actually did the recording, and then they sort of. So the recording was not edited or anything. Just
no, you just as it is. It's memang directly from the Microsoft team, and then it's not edited, and then it's shared in eLEAP for all of us.
How long was the practical session?
It is not more than 1 hour actually. Because the real practical session took 2 hours, because of course you have to, in real life you have to, students are there, but here, because we are just demonstrating and showing them in the discussion, actually it didn't take long. Even for the block 3, the preparation of blood film for malaria parasite preparation, it only takes roughly around half an hour.
Okay.
It's very short actually. So this is a good thing compared to asynchronous, because you keep on practicing and have to re-recording and taking so much. Yeah.
When you do asynchronous, you're right. No, we try to get perfection into it. No, and we spend a lot of time doing it. I can attest to that kind of thing. Because you try to do the perfect way, and you spend a lot of time on that.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for the sharing. I still open for question. If anyone has any question, please come forward to ask any one of us. Angela, do you have a question?
Yes, I have a technical question for Paul. Paul, how do you you said you had 2 different cameras, so does it mean that you had 2 different accounts open in Teams, and then you just, or how do you do that? Do you mind sharing?
Well, how should I do this? Because in the I forgot already. I'm so sorry, I forgot already how to do that. But there's a way in the Microsoft team that you can detect the other camera at the same time, but you just click on it, then it switch. Yeah.
Currently, I have 2 cameras. Currently, I have two cameras. I don't know whether this is what you meant by switching. If I can switch from one camera to another camera, you can actually see them different view. This is the built-in camera with the Mac. Then when I go on to say, or maybe somebody else is okay, now if I go to, can you see the difference?
I don't see anything.
Yeah, this is my USB camera. This is my view from my USB camera. I can move it around like no, even if I can,
Yeah.
I can move it to the side here, no?
Yeah.
I
So
think Angela,
yeah.
I think if this is what Paul is referring to, then if you click the video for a long time, the video icon for a long time, then you get an option popping down, and you can select which camera you want to.
Yes, I think I see what you mean. There's macam an option under there.
Yeah, there's an option there you can get that. This is the side view that I'm getting at the moment. It's out of focus. Now it's in focus.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That's good, lah. I mean, you're doing now. You have to learn how to use both the cameras simultaneously.
Yeah.
That'll be nice to know. Yep. Any other question? Okay, if we don't have
Hello,
question,
Ashley. How about
yes.
the MDB 50208 semester 2? It's a fulfill the eLEAP or not?
MDP
50208.
50208. Can I check and then I'll get back to you, Dr. So?
Okay, thank you.
Okay. The knowledge sharing video clips will be shared to you all once everything is edited and put together, and I will share it with everyone. I would like to end the session. Thank you very much for being very interactive participants, and meet you in another session of blended learning workshop. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Ashley.
Okay, bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.